Basketball is a very popular sport played in most of the countries of the world. The game is played by male and female over all the age groups. Anyone can play, and there are many levels of ability and development. There are leagues for schools, colleges, university, local, national, semi-professional, professional, and the most prestigious of all, the NBA. In the entire population of the United States, only 1 person in a million will play in the NBA. The skill level in basketball is so high and the sport requires so much practice that there are few who can excel. That is why the NBA is the only elite league in the world. Basketball is a fun game to play, and that is what most people want to do. They just want to play a game. But the player who makes something of himself in this sport is the one who is willing to work on his own, practicing all the skills, perfecting each one, and there are thousands of them. That player is willing to do the repetitious drilling that is required on each skill. He or she will continue to practice on their own until each aspect of each skill is perfected. That player is truly unique. This video will attempt to show a player how they should train in developing all the skills for a basketball player. This is not necessarily to teach skills or step-by-step show you how a particular skill is done. Most of the videos that have gone before show that. This is how to train, how much to train, and how to teach and coach yourself. I will tell you now, there are no magic drills that can be done now and again that will turn you into a player. The only way to perfect a skill is by sheer repetition, doing the drill over and over, refining it and coaching yourself, knowing how you want the skill to look and feel, practicing until it is perfect. The player is built in the off-season, when he or she can dedicate themselves to individual drills. This video is about off-season training. In the off-season, you will want to also play half-court of mainly 3-on-3 with some 4-on-4 and 5-on-5. Do not play full court. There is not much development in running back and forth on a full court. Developing skills in basketball is a lonely existence. If you are persistent and committed, you will get through it. Always begin your training session with a ball handling routine, which is also a quickness drill. Change the routine every now and again to keep your enthusiasm. All the drills in the individual training are considered to be boring by most people. This is usually the first stumbling block in a player's development. If you are easily bored and perfection is not something you want to pursue, the remainder of this video is not for you. The ball handling is a warm-up and only needs 2 or 3 minutes once you get the routine down. It is always a good idea to do the ball handling when you are just sitting around doing nothing else, when you are watching TV or waiting for the internet to load up. Have a ball handy. In fact, if you are serious, you should have one in your hands most of the time. The more you handle the ball, the better you will get. To be an effective player, you will need to handle and dribble the ball like it is part of you. Oftentimes, neighbors complain about the bounce of the ball. Put a little more air in the ball and practice on grass, or roll out some old carpet over the concrete. You may have to go to a playground or some clear area where you can do the drill work without disturbing anyone. Obstacles and difficulties are there to be overcome. Don't make excuses. Find a way. Again, there is no magic to it. The drills are simply anything you can dream up that involves a dribble. It is all about keeping your head up and your hand on top of the ball. You are developing bad habits if you allow yourself to turn your hand on the side or underneath the ball. Do stationary dribbling, right and left hand, crossover, through the legs, behind the back. Dribble once on the side and then behind the back. Run and dribble at speed, right and left hand. Change direction dribble using crossover, through the legs, behind the back, and most important, the spin dribble. Study each detail of every dribbling skill. Keep non-dribble hand up as an arm bar to protect. Keep dribbling hand on top. Watch and study good players with good basic skills. Coach yourself by paying attention to detail. Spend 2 or 3 minutes on every dribbling skill. You should spend about 20 minutes on dribbling. I will keep repeating this, but real players develop their own game, and they can see in their mind's eye how they want to look and feel when they dribble the ball. They see and execute the skill. They don't need a coach standing over them all the time. Break down the skill step by step in slow motion. See the detail.
Sarge on the offence now. Guyman. Oh, quick pass though. Don't forget the Mali because he's intercepted by...
Passing has become the most neglected of all basketball skills. There is little or no practice time allocated to the numerous passes, nor is there an understanding that different passes are used in different situations. There is only one way in which to become good at anything that requires skill, and that is the repetitive practice of that skill and a full understanding of its working parts. Begin your passing session with the wall pass drill. This is often difficult. Neighbors really don't like this one. Still, you must find a place to do this drill. The best idea is a toss back, which is nothing more than a mini trampoline turned on its side at an angle which will return the ball to you. This is a toss back that I threw together for the purpose of this video. It is simply a wooden frame nailed together with elastic cords stretched across the frame. I deliberately made the striking area small to focus on the accuracy. If the ball does not hit dead center on this tossback, the passer has to chase the ball, which gives more incentive to be accurate. The wall pass drill is a passing and a dribbling drill. The main objective is to gain a better feel for the ball and better control. The more time spent on the drill, the more confident the ball handler becomes. Once you can do this drill effectively, it also becomes a quickness drill. The between-the-leg dribble should be added at this point. Make sure you pass the ball when you pick it up from the dribble. Don't toss the ball to the target. Pass the ball using wrist and follow-through. Another variation is the behind-the-back pass. All the passing skills look quite simple, but when broken down into their parts are more than they seem. If you are to become a player, you must discover these parts, perfect each part to make the perfect pass. Where are the fingers and thumbs placed on the ball? How far away from the body is the ball held when doing a chest pass? How are the body and the feet positioned? What is the position of the elbows? What is the timing between the hands and the arms to the step forward? How is the backspin created? What is the position of the hand on completion of the pass? When you receive the ball back, can you break down the skill of the quick stop? And is the ball in the shooting pocket? It should be. Being a good player is all about building good habits. And since you are your own coach, how do you develop these good habits and break the bad ones? Now go through the passes looking for perfection in each pass. Start with the chest pass. Right and left hand flick pass.
If you would maybe follow through.
Right and left hand flick bounce pass. Then bounce pass. And most important, the two-hand overhead pass. Remember, this is not a football throw-in. This is a basketball pass, is just what it says it is. Two-hand overhead. Pretend you are being guarded. Keep ball away from the defender by standing side on, keeping the ball on the other side of your head. Look at yourself in a mirror or a window and study the pass. Step towards the defender, bring the ball fully extended over your head, elbows as straight as possible. Rotate your shoulders quickly to build up momentum. Now, being square onto the defender, snap the hands and wrists down towards the target. Again, break down the skill to its parts and perfect each one, especially in this pass. Guards and any ball handler will have to learn to dribble with their back to the basket, seeing as much of the floor behind them as possible by looking over their shoulder. Guards must learn to pass from this position and learn to clear the passing lane with the dribble and use the appropriate pass for every situation. There is a place and a time for every pass, including the behind the back pass and the behind the head pass. And if you want to use these passes, you will have to practice them. Once you have done the drill, work on all the passes. Then put yourself in a game situation where you dribble drive and pass off the dribble. Spend a good few minutes passing and catching off the move. Spend at least 20 minutes every day on passing, the forgotten skill. Can you use a fake effectively? Do you practice the fake? Probably not. This looks too simple to have to practice, right? Looks are deceiving and the use of the fake is almost a lost art. This little skill is extremely important to a player and must be performed with precision and quickness to be effective. The secret to a good fake is that the ball doesn't really move all that much. It is the quick movement of the head and shoulders that freezes the defender or causes him to move in the wrong direction. Players who don't know how to use a fake will move the ball, either attempting to fake a pass or a shot. In doing so, they will move the ball, sometimes to a fully extended position away from their body. Now, to execute a shot, the ball will have to be brought back to its original position to go into the shot. In that time, the defender will have recovered sufficiently to bother or even block the shot. The ball needs to stay at shoulder level, either in a chin position or triple threat. The head and shoulders are moved quickly, just a few inches, to simulate a pass or a shot. This action freezes the defender and allows the offensive player to proceed to a shot, pass, or dribble. Practice the fake on its own. Work on pivoting with a fake. Lift fake to a bounce pass. Fake the bounce pass and throw a two-hand overhead pass. Work on power moves with a fake. Incorporate the fake in everything that you do. The fake is an important aspect to any player's game and requires as much practice as any of the other skills. To disregard learning to do a fake well will eventually lead to the player being found wanting when the competition gets tougher. How many other simple little skills will be ignored in your development years? Only a complete player can go on to the next level beyond the development years of a teenager. If you want to be one of those, you better pay attention to detail, because in basketball, everything matters. Always learn the game from the inside out. By this I mean start close to the basket and develop all the shots and skills needed near the hoop. You'll have to develop your weak hand to be as effective as your strong hand near the basket, and the best time to do this is now. The main reason that people do not use their weak hand is fear. Fear of being embarrassed, fear of looking silly, and most of all, fear of failure. Fear of failure is curtains for a player or any athlete. Basketball is a game of mistakes, and the skill required is probably beyond what you can comprehend at the moment. But all human beings have this ailment, fear of failure, and you, like everyone else, must overcome its hold. Fear of failure is a mental block put in your mind to restrict your development. Whenever confronted with this fear, move away from how you think and feel and move on to seeing it for what it actually is, which is a beginning. You start by putting your weak hand under the ball and pushing it up to the basket. Maybe it rolls off your hand as you start to push. This is your beginning. Now try again to push the ball up to the basket with your weak hand. Continue to practice and you will improve each time you take the shot. Stay very focused just on your own progress. Do not gauge your progress against someone else. This is yet another ingredient of failure, trying to convince yourself that you can't achieve, that it is beyond your ability, that you are not as good as someone else. The one common factor in all successful people is that they are persistent. Walt Disney suffered enormous setbacks, especially early on in his career. Thank goodness he did not quit. Always start your shooting practice with the figure-8 drill, or as it is sometimes called, the Mikan drill. This is a basic hook shot with each hand and should be fully extended, shooting the ball with just the hand. The lift of the body from the floor gives more than enough momentum to propel the ball to the rim with just a flick of the wrist. Any shot taken within 7 feet of the basket should be shot with just the hand from the age of about 14. If you are younger and smaller, you must make an effort to develop strength and timing to just flick the wrist near the basket. As in all shooting, form is everything, and the most important element is the finish of the shot, the flick of the wrist, with fingers spread apart in a gooseneck position. Make sure you only take one step and stay pretty much under the basket. Keep the ball chinned. Do not bring the ball below the shoulders. Catch, step, extend, and flick the wrist. Study the form in this video and emulate what you see. Perfect the skill. Take 25 shots on each side. Power moves. Keep your shoulders square and the toes pointed towards the backboard. The ball must remain chinned when making moves near the basket. Do not bring the ball below the shoulders to shoot. Jump, extend, and just use the hand to shoot. This shot must be extremely quick. It must be released high on the board before the defender can leave the floor. Upon landing, be in a rebounding position in front of the basket. As a variation, sometimes rebound the ball out of the net and go up again. Take 25 shots with each hand. Also, work on fake to shot. Reverse layups. Do a variation of the figure-8 drill by changing angles. Still take only one step. The secret here is to turn your shoulders opening out slightly, which gives a greater reach. The ball is released off the outside of the index finger, giving the side spin and aids the angle to the basket. Take 25 shots with each hand. Jump hook. Start in front of the basket and put the ball right over the front of the rim. Learn to shoot this shot with your back completely to the basket. Keep the ball chinned. Do not bring the ball below shoulder level. Your shooting hand must be slightly turned towards the basket. As you jump, start a half turn to end up facing the basket on finish. On the half turn, when side onto the basket, the ball should be fully extended with the offhand in an armbar position. At this point, the ball should be on the fingertips and a flick of the wrist should propel the ball to the rim. There should be very little arm motion. You should be in a rebounding position upon finish. The difficulty in learning this shot, and what most people have trouble with, is that the hand and the arm are fully extended up and away from the body. Because the shot is taken side on at the basket, the wrist flick is adjusted to compensate for the angle of release. The rule here and on any shot is that the index finger should always be pointing in the direction of the target. If the fingers are pointing in another direction on the finish of the shot, then the ball came off the side of the hand. Take 25 shots with each hand, then move to the side of the rim, practicing the jump hook off the board. 25 shots with each hand. The 7-foot turnaround jump shot. Position yourself 7 feet from the basket on the block of the key with your back to the basket. Start with the ball in the chin position. Forward pivot first to your left to the jump shot off the board. On the next shot, forward pivot to your right and take a jump shot off the board. The rule on shooting is that the closer you are to the basket, the higher above your head the ball is held for the shot. Any shot within 7 feet of the basket should be fully extended and should be shot with just the hand and wrist. These are what we call touch shots, and too much arm motion close to the basket ruins the touch. Alternate the pivot on each shot, and when you pivot, make sure you keep your knees bent and stay low and quick on the turn. Take 25 shots from this position and then move to the other side and take another 25 shots doing the same thing. Position yourself on the baseline 10 feet from the basket. Each time you take a shot, you will take one step to the side and work your way around the basket in a semicircle to the basket. First time round, you will just do stationary shooting. Going back in the other direction, you will do spin backs to simulate receiving a pass to catch and shoot. You will repeat the spin back in the third round, so you learn to catch and shoot, moving in both to your right and to your left. In the fourth and fifth round, you will dribble into the shot. Now take one step back to about 13 feet and repeat the 5-round drill of 1 stationary, 2 spin back, and 2 dribble. Repeat this drill to 16 and 19 feet. That will take you to the top of the circle on the key. You should be taking 10 to 12 shots in each round. When shooting, make sure you concentrate on the form and technique of the shot. Start in triple threat, do not wind up into the shot,